Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about the upcoming full moon on July 10th that will come just a few days after Uranus moves into Gemini. I've just put out that video about the energies of that powerful time and shift where Uranus is now activating those energies of Gemini and increasing our connection with higher consciousness. So that's very much reverberating in this time of the full moon. And a lot of the aspects that I talked about that are occurring on July 7th are still at work at the time of this full moon. So I won't be repeating those aspects. Feel free to look at that video that I just put out. But let me talk about some other configurations in this full moon that guide us in understanding how it's continuing to support us in making the changes that we need to make to be moving into this accelerating time of transition and movement into higher consciousness. Let me show you the chart. So this full moon will occur on July 10th here in the Boston area at 4:35 p.m. And you can see that the sun is at 18 degrees of Cancer opposite the moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn. There's a significant T-square at the time of this full moon with the sun and moon squaring Chiron and Erisina. I've talked a lot about this theme of Chiron and Erisina in Aries and how they are supporting us in the healing process that we're in as we're in this critical time of transformation. And I think it's important to honor how it's very active at the time of this full moon, that we are being called into Sun in Cancer, integrating more that energy of compassion, how we are nurturing to ourselves, to each other, and Moon in Capricorn, how we're bringing that into form, into structure in our lives and in our collective global communities together. What are the systems that can manifest in a grounded way that compassion? And in their T-square with Chiron and Erisina, it is calling us to heal our sense of self, Aries, to heal the out of balanced energies of the age of Aries that are still at work in our collective consciousness with the power over paradigms and that way in which we can get caught up in ego consciousness, in greed, in corruption, in destruction, in violence, in abuse of power. So this is very much calling us to heal that individually and collectively in order, Erisina and Aries, to move in new directions as she moves off the ecliptic and has her own very unique orbit. She's calling us to be pioneers, to be creative, to be innovative, and step into new ways of being and expressing ourselves as we're moving into this Aquarian age. Part of why I emphasize that theme of the importance of our doing our inner work and healing in this time is because if we don't clear those traumas from the past, if we don't do that inner work, then we are likely to continue to act out unconsciously those patterns from the past and the coping mechanisms that developed because of that past pain in a way that perpetuates those painful patterns. We're being supported to clear that in order to move into new ways of being, in order to move into higher consciousness. It's also significant at the time of this full moon that the sun and moon are in another T square with the asteroid Ceres, which relates both to how we connect with the Earth, our mother. Ceres is that Roman name for Demeter in Greek mythology, the Earth Mother, the grain goddess. But it's also about how we are nurturing to ourselves and each other in a grounded way, Ceres. So we're being called to heal, but also to be nurturing to ourselves in ways that support us in how we're being embodied here and in how we're relating to the earth and to the life forms around us. But here is the chart adding in some other Kuiper Belt objects and dwarf planets. And you can see again that here we have Uranus in its conjunction with the asteroid Psyche that I talked about in that last video, and also its conjunction with Sedna and Venus. We see again that grand square with the sun opposite the moon and the moon conjunct this powerful combination in Capricorn of Quaoar, Pholus, Ixion, and they're squaring Maki Maki, which is opposite Neptune and Saturn. Again, I don't want to reiterate that grand square in that this was energized in the new moon, very active in Uranus's movement into Gemini. It is so much another theme of calling us into healing these patterns in our collective consciousness, these patterns in our systems and structures, Capricorn, that have been out of balance, to come back into ways in which we're living in right relationship with each other and all of life, Quaoar. And then Neptune and Saturn guiding us into new forms that are regenerative, Maki Maki, that are holding that ecological wisdom of our interconnectedness and interdependence with all that is, calling us back into reverence and right relationship with all of the life around us on the earth. This is a critical transition point to move from that period of 5,000 years of disconnection, of that illusion of separation, of seeing ourselves as superior to the life forms around us, forgetting the consciousness of everything and calling us back into that sense of love and reverence and right relationship and wonder and an honoring of the consciousness of all of life. But the grand square that I want to focus on at the time of this full moon is the grand square that includes that T square of the sun opposite the moon squaring Chiron and Erisina opposite the asteroid Atlantis that is resonating with the energy of Atlantis. I think this is very powerful in this chart in terms of the ways in which it's calling us not only to do the individual healing that we need to do in order to move into new directions, new patterns, Erisina, but it's opposite this asteroid that's reminding us of what happened with Atlantis. And remember, the fall of Atlantis, according to Plato, was around 9600 BC, which is about 12,000 years ago. And this crisis came at the time of the last cataclysm, major cataclysm on our planet 12,000 years ago, the Younger Dryas period, where we had massive flooding earthquakes, volcanic activity. And that started around 10,900 BC and extended to 9,700 BC. So the fall of Atlantis came at the end of that Younger Dryas period, the end of that major cataclysmic crisis and reset on the earth 12,000 years ago. And in that it's opposite Chiron, I believe part of the message of this full moon is we need to remember the tragedy of what happened with Atlantis so that we are not repeating that in this time where we're now at that vulnerable period in the precessional cycle for another major cataclysm and Earth reset. And what led to the fall of Atlantis? Remember, Atlantis was this very advanced culture that dated back potentially tens of thousands of years before the fall of Atlantis. But in its final phase, according to Plato and others who've tuned into the energies of what occurred at that time, Atlantis became caught in their idealization of the mind and the advanced and often dangerous technology that they were developing. But they also got caught up in ego consciousness, in greed, in imperialism, and in corruption and arrogance. Think about how those resonate, those themes resonate with some of what we're seeing playing out in the world right now. Our idealization of the mind, our development of technology, some of which is highly dangerous, our corruption, greed. So this full moon is saying we need to be aware of that and to be healing those patterns in the collective consciousness in order to move in new directions and redefine who we are individually and collectively as we're coming out of this period of the Kali Yuga, this time of being caught in our lowest level of consciousness and that illusion of separation, and are falling into these themes of greed, corruption, abuse of power, destruction of each other and the earth. So to move into compassion, to move, these are cardinal signs, Cancer, Capricorn, to move into new forms, new systems, new structures, we need to heal individually and collectively, and to be conscious of those patterns in our own lives and in our world that are so destructive and out of balance. And it's also significant that the other important aspect at the time of this full moon is the sun is sextiling Mars in Virgo and the moon is trining Mars. Mars is moving into conjunction with the South Node. We're called to allow our actions then to come out of this healing process, Virgo, to be of service to others and coming from a place that is about right action, discernment, rather than abuse of power and destructive actions. So this full moon, we talked at the time of the new moon about how we're being called into new ways of thinking, new ways of understanding ourselves and our world as Jupiter has moved into Cancer and is in the sky, in the stars of Gemini, that we're needing to heal from the past, to see ourselves and our world in different ways, to have new stories, new ways of perceiving ourselves, who we are, and what we're capable of. If we don't do that healing work individually and collectively, we tend to repeat the patterns of the past and believe that that is the way it's always been. This is how the world functions. This is just how we have to endure on the planet. As we can begin to perceive that we're coming out of this time of lower consciousness, called into healing and releasing the out of balanced patterns of the past, then we can open to new ways of being. We can open to higher consciousness. We can begin to remember what we've forgotten from that wisdom from the advanced cultures from the past, the wisdom the indigenous cultures still retain, that we are a part of the oneness of all that is, that we have the capacity with our consciousness to move into new ways of being, new technologies that are in harmony and balance with the earth, with each other, new ways of relating to each other, new forms of leadership, new ways of healing and honoring how to be in balance with our health. All of that can change as we release these destructive patterns from the past, the trauma that those patterns have caused, set ourselves free as Uranus in Gemini is calling us into truth, into freedom. As Jeffrey Wolf Green would say, freedom from the known. Uranus calls us out of the structured patterns of the past, calls us into freedom from the known ways of being, to move in radically new directions. And in Gemini, new ways of thinking and understanding ourselves and our world, and ways that we can connect with divine mind, cosmic consciousness, to redefine ourselves and restory the world. As I talked with Lannan Prigge in our interview, our stories are how we give our lives meaning. Our stories are about how we perceive the world. The stories we tell shape our behavior, affect our emotions, guide our intentions and our actions. So if we hold that story and awareness and truth that we're coming out of the Kali Yuga, out of the time of our lowest level of consciousness, into higher consciousness, into the paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about living in love and balance, alignment with the soul self, to be in peace and harmony with each other and all of life, to open to the capacities of our consciousness, to move into new ways of regenerating ourselves, healing ourselves, traveling the galaxy, being able to rejoin our extended family of galactic beings. All of this is what we're being called to move into. But if we don't do that healing and we cling to the stories of the past, we will repeat the past and we will be calling the earth to heal us then through a cataclysmic reset. The choice is ours. And it is part of why I think we need to restore our understandings of the planets, that so much of our understanding of astrology and the meanings of the planets comes through those stories from Greek and Roman mythology. Even the story of Psyche that I talked about in my video about Uranus, there's some kernels of archetypal meaning and deeper truth in that story, but it's coming out of a Roman story embedded in these energies of the out of balanced patterns of the age of Aries And the deeper story that I didn't go into detail into is all about jealousy and greed and struggle for power and competition and ruptured relationships. These are some of the wounds of the out of balanced age of Aries that we are still needing to heal, to clear them, and to move into the age of Aquarius, to move into these new paradigms, new stories, new understandings of ourselves, new energies in our way of being. In the book that I'm working on right now, which is a revision of the book that I wrote, Finding Our Center, I am writing about this deeper meaning of the precessional cycle and its relationship with the Yuga cycle, and how significant it is that we're coming out of this time of Kali Yuga, that we're at this karmic choice point on the planet right now, this critical time in our evolutionary journey as humanity. And I deeply believe that we have the capacity at this time to make an evolutionary leap. The Buddhists talk about being caught on the wheel of samsara, the wheel of suffering. We've been in this journey of being on the wheel of the precessional cycle, the movement of ascending consciousness, descending consciousness, coming into higher consciousness, then moving into a time of forgetting until we sink into our lowest level of consciousness and our most destructive ways of being in order to heal, reemerge, and rise in consciousness again. I believe we're at a critical point as humanity where we can make an evolutionary leap off the wheel to come to center, to come into higher consciousness, to come into that remembrance that we are soul selves having this human experience, to remember that we are a part of that oneness of cosmic consciousness. The reason that in my own personal spiritual practice I use the medicine wheel is that it is such a reminder of how we can work that journey of healing and transformation, to step off the wheel, to come to center, into that still point, into that alignment with our wholeness, with our soul self, our connection with the earth and sky, and the oneness of all that is, to then be living from our hearts and our alignment with our soul selves, and not in these patterns of remembering and forgetting, getting caught in trauma, healing, recovering, going through it all over again. In the same way, our astrology chart is guiding us to understand the themes in our lives and the patterns that we came in as a soul self to experience in this embodiment, in this incarnation. But as we work it at a deeper spiritual level, we can eventually come to the center of our chart, knowing that we are a soul self experiencing these different energies and aspects that are represented in our chart. But we are ultimately not identified with or by any of them. We are a soul self having a human experience. We are a fractal expression of the oneness of cosmic consciousness. And when we remember that, we live in freedom, we live in wholeness, we live in that capacity to enjoy our embodiment without being attached to this mortal lifetime or the personality self that we've come in with. We can enjoy it and celebrate it as an expression of the creativity of cosmic consciousness, but we're not bound by it or caught in this incarnational third dimensional reality. We are a part of this multidimensional galaxy and universe. We are multidimensional beings and have that capacity to reclaim that higher consciousness. This is the profound time that we're in, and our karmic choice point to allow ourselves to release the patterns from the past, to heal, to do that inner work, to come to center, to live from our hearts and our soul selves, to move into radically new ways of being individually and collectively. It's interesting that the Sabian symbol for the sun at the time of this full moon at 18 degrees of Cancer is a priest performing a marriage ceremony. Think about that. A priest performing a marriage ceremony. Someone in a spiritual context honoring the union of two people who are coming together into an experience of intimacy and oneness. And the deeper meaning of that archetypally is that we are called to integrate the parts of ourselves, integrate our relationships with each other, to express ourselves in the world in a conscious way with emotional and spiritual maturity, to move beyond polarization, to move beyond inner fragmentation, to move beyond that illusion of separation from each other, from the earth, from the cosmos, to come back into unity consciousness, to honor the diversity of who we each are, but remember that we are a part of the oneness of all that is. And the Sabian symbol for the moon at 18 degrees of Capricorn is a child of about age 5 carrying a huge shopping bag. Just taking that image visually for a moment. A little child, about 5, carrying a huge shopping bag. And the meaning of that is that this is a time where we feel like we're still young and moving into these new patterns and not fully clear how to handle the changes that we're in. But this energy of this full moon is saying, hold all of that, handle these challenges with fortitude, with inner strength, to know that it can feel very challenging sometimes in this time because we're seeing the deconstruction of the old forms. We're seeing the backlash to the Aquarian paradigms with this effort to increase and exaggerate power over and abuse of power and greed and corruption and imperialism, as happened back in the days of Atlantis in those final years. We're seeing all of that playing out on the earth right now. But if we know the story, the meaning of this time is that we're meant to heal and move into higher consciousness, then we as a community can live that, emanate that, activate that, support the co-creation of a new world together. So even though we may feel overwhelmed at times or that the challenge is too great, this full moon is saying you are supported. You're being given the inner strength to stand firm, to stay centered, to be in this time of healing and transformation, to together be co-creating a new world. And let's look now at where these energies are in the sky at the time of this full moon. So on July 10th, at the time of the full moon, the sun will be here in the stars of Gemini, right conjunct the star Wasat, Wasat. Wasat, that name, comes from the Arabic al-Wasat, meaning the middle. It's symbolizing the middle or the center of the twins of Gemini. And I've talked about them before. Pollux and Castor are showing those energies of polarity, of light and dark, of mortality and immortality. But this star Wasat is saying they can be united and integrated through this energy of this star that is a binary star. It is itself a part of an integration in relationship with another star. So this resonates with the meaning of that Sabian symbol of the priest uniting two people in marriage, that we can take those parts of ourselves as we heal and reintegrate and come into wholeness, that we can also move beyond the polarization and divisions between us in relationship to honor our differentness, but to reconnect in right relationship. And Jupiter is also activating these energies of Gemini. And as I said, even though it's moving into the sign of Cancer in the tropical zodiac chart, Jupiter through its year in that sign will be moving back and forth in the sky in the stars of Gemini, guiding us to restory our lives, reintegrate these aspects of ourselves, reintegrate that unity in the midst of diversity. And at the time of the full moon, the moon will be in the stars of Sagittarius. Remember that Sagittarius is the centaur, part human, part horse, holding the bow and arrow, with the tip of the arrow pointing directly at that dark rift in the Milky Way, our view of the galactic center. The moon is in the back of the centaur. It's in the horse part of the centaur. And the meaning of that centaur archetypally is the integration of our humanity with our embodiment, with our physical nature as we are here on the earth plane. You can also think of it as the integration of our divine self with our human self, that we come in as a soul self embodied in human form to have this physical, emotional experience of being here on the earth plane, that it's a cauldron for our rapid transformation and growth as we experience the experiences in our embodiment and can grow and evolve in love and wisdom through those experiences. So the full moon is supporting us, as it's talking about this child dealing with these challenges. It's talking to us about our sense of humanity that is still trying to catch up with all the changes that are happening in the world right now. And we can honor that human experience. We can honor those emotions that we go through, the confusion, the anxiety, the pain, the suffering. We can honor the wisdom of our bodies and what they have to teach us and tell us as we're moving through this time. Many of us are feeling these increasing solar energies and galactic energies coming through us, causing sleepless nights or agitation or increased energy and physical symptoms as they're changing our bodies, activating the latent DNA to be shifting us physically as well as expanding our consciousness and supporting us in this radical shift that we're in. So the full moon is saying, honor all of that. Honor the meaning of sacred embodiment and the meaning of being in physical form here. Honor your physicality, honor your body, listen to your body and its messages to you. Honor your feelings and what you're experiencing in this time, but don't identify with them. Remember that you are a divine being in physical form. You're not a physical form bound to this mortal existence. But it is an intense time that we're in, and many of us are feeling the intensity of that in our own experiences as we're in this accelerated time of healing and transformation. We're seeing it in how we are impacted by the turbulence in the world. So I think the key in the midst of all of this is how we come to center, how we keep working with what we're feeling, working with this healing journey that we're in, but keep aligning with our soul self, aligning with the heart, our center chakra, that is the opening, the portal to our connection with cosmic consciousness and unity consciousness. So, in service to that, I would like to do a meditation that's integrating the ongoing work with the medicine wheel that I've woven into other meditations, but that's deepening how we can work with staying centered when we come to the center of the medicine wheel. And this will build on some of what I was talking about in the last video about Uranus and Gemini and how we can align with those energies of the earth and sky and really be activating our own alignment with the soul self and cosmic consciousness as we're moving through this time of shift and transformation. So here's the medicine wheel meditation that is about how we can come to center and open to that higher consciousness. And I encourage you to practice this on a daily basis if possible. I do every day, and it helps clear my energy field, align me, and remind me of how to come back to center when I get out of balance across the course of the day. As I do this medicine wheel meditation, I will be starting in the south. When we do the walking meditation with the medicine wheel here in the northern hemisphere, we start in the south and go clockwise around the wheel. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, you may want to start in the north and go counterclockwise. So tune in to what feels right to you. But for many, like when Jane Gleason White and I talked about this in our interview, she described how the energies of the southern hemisphere are aligning us to work with that medicine wheel in a different way. And again, it's again a part of our differentness on the planet, but our ability to be in connection with each other and honor that diversity and differentness. So here's the meditation. And again, let's continue to support each other in this time to keep coming to center, connecting with each other with our hearts, to be emanating these energies of peace and love and harmony and truth into the collective consciousness, to allow this transformational time on the planet to be a more gentle time, to rapidly support us in moving out of these destructive, turbulent, traumatizing patterns of the past into the new paradigms of higher consciousness, of the fifth dimensional consciousness, and of the Aquarian paradigms. Blessings and love to all of you. Allow yourself to begin to breathe in and out slowly and deeply. Allowing yourself to sit or stand, feeling yourself begin to relax. Allowing any stressful thoughts or physical tension or stress to flow down through your body with your out-breath into the earth to be composted there. And allow yourself to feel your feet connecting you to the earth, grounding you, supporting you. Breathe in that connection with the earth that grounds you. Breathe out the stress and tension and distracting thoughts. Now visualize yourself coming to the medicine wheel and standing in the south. Here in the south, as we step into the sacred space of the medicine wheel, we feel our connection with the earth. We feel our alignment with our observer self. As we step into the wheel, we remember that the story of this lifetime, of this personality, is not our deeper truth, that we are a soul self having this human experience. As we step into the south and into alignment, we remember that. We honor this personality self and incarnation, but we don't identify with it or attach to it. We hold it lightly. And as we stand in the south, we honor the stars and the energy of Aquarius, the water bearer in the sky, pouring the living waters of life and consciousness and wisdom to us. As we stand in the south, we drink deeply of those energies that are coming to us to support us, to align more fully with our soul selves. We give thanks to the south, to the stars of Aquarius, and honor them, and now walk clockwise to the west. And now we stand in the west, and we honor the energies of water, and we honor our connection to the stars of the constellation Scorpius and the sign of Scorpio, guiding us to dive deep into the waters of our emotions, to be in a process of transformation and deepening our awareness in order to heal. And we also honor here in the West our relationships, those that are healing for us and supportive of us, those that have been challenging and painful, that have been the cauldron for learning and transformation for us. And here we also honor our animal and plant allies and our relationships with our spirit guides and helpers and the galactic beings who are supporting us in this time. We give thanks for all of those relationships We honor the energies of the waters, and we honor the energies of the stars of Scorpius. And now we continue to walk around the wheel, coming to the north. And here, as we stand in the north, we honor the energies of fire and the stars of Leo. We honor that fire within us, that sacred spark of our soul self that remembers our connection to cosmic consciousness. We honor the fires of consciousness that support us in seeing ourselves more clearly, in remembering who we truly are. And we honor the light of consciousness that supports us in reclaiming the lost parts of ourselves and those aspects of us that have been hidden in the shadows or split off or fragmented through trauma. We reclaim all those parts of ourselves, holding them in the light of consciousness and in the fires of compassion, the love that is at the heart of Leo, the lion. We honor these energies of fire and of Leo and of consciousness. And now we continue to the east. And here we honor the element of earth, our groundedness, our sacred embodiment. We honor the stars of Taurus, teaching us how to be embodied here, teaching us how to honor our bodies and the sacredness of the ways in which we can express our creativity here in physical form. And we are guided to heal our sense of self and to heal in our relationships with the other life forms around us, to remember the sacredness of all of life. We give thanks to these energies of the East, of healing, of the stars of Taurus, of the element Earth. And now we continue around the wheel, coming back to the south, remembering again our alignment with our soul self. And now we step slowly and consciously into the center of the medicine wheel. We stand in the center and gaze around the wheel, honoring all of these aspects of our journey, all of these experiences of our lives. But we disidentify from those experiences and remember we are a soul self having this human experience. And as we stand in the center, we honor the energies of the sacredness of the earth beneath our feet and the sacredness of the sky above us. Allow yourself to open roots from your feet to go all the way down to the core of the earth. Feel yourself align with the rhythms of Mother Earth. Allow yourself to breathe in and absorb the wisdom and the energies coming to you from the core, the crystal core of the earth. Take those energies in, allow them to fill you, to heal you, to ground you and support you and nurture you. And now allowing yourself to focus on your crown chakra. Open your crown chakra to the energies of the sky, the sun and moon and planets and stars. Feel that energy of the full moon at the time of this full moon, filling you, supporting you. Feel that energy of the sun and those solar energies come surround you, clear your energy field, supporting you in coming back to your center, to that inner stillness. That center chakra, your heart. Pull in those energies of the sky to fill you, energize you, enlighten you, and enliven you. Now allow yourself to extend your focus all the way up to the galactic center. Pulling in those energies of the galactic center, our source, to guide you in your transformational process into wholeness. Feel those energies of the galactic center and the sun and the sun's energies activating your pineal gland, expanding your consciousness, activating your high heart, opening you to unity consciousness, to the oneness of all that is, to the oneness of cosmic consciousness. Pull those energies in from the sky and allow them to fill your body and activate your heart. Feel your heart expanding with these energies and allow yourself to focus on going back down to the core of the earth, pulling those energies up through your central channel, all the way up to the galactic center. Feel the galactic center energies coming down through your crown, down that central channel, down all the way to the core of the earth. Again, pull those energies up to the galactic center, back down through your central channel, like golden rays, filling you, healing you, enlightening you, back and forth between the core of the earth and the galactic center. Feel how that's expanding your energy field, clearing your energy body, enlivening you, enlightening you. Feel those energies now meet at your heart, expanding your heart chakra, activating your higher heart, opening that portal to cosmic consciousness more fully than ever before. And now feel how those energies activate your lower dantian, there where your second and third chakras come together, activating right action. Feel those energies activate your third eye, the upper dantian, right knowing, expanding the pineal gland, helping you move into higher consciousness, into fifth dimensional consciousness, that energy of love and peace and unity consciousness. Feel those centers now, your heart, your higher heart, your lower dantian, your upper dantian, glowing with these energies from the core of the earth and the galactic center, guiding you in right action, right loving, right knowing. Bring your hands now to your heart chakra, honoring your heart, honoring this connection through your heart to unity consciousness, honoring your connection with Source, with cosmic consciousness, to know that you're never alone. You're held in the love and wisdom of the cosmos. Feel yourself grounded in your connection with the earth and held and supported by the wisdom from the sky. Know that you are in that alignment that helps you come to center, into that awareness of your soul self, and into that ability then to feel the currents of cosmic consciousness, healing you, aligning you, helping you come into the wholeness of who you are, to emanate love and peace from your heart, and to find that stillness within that is at the core of who you are, and that deep awareness of your being part of the oneness of all that is. Take that in, breathe that in, and now allow yourself to pull in those roots from the earth. Gently close your crown chakra. Feel the different energies now running through your body. Feel the expansion of your heart. Feel that inner calm and peace and stillness. That sense of love and being loved. Give thanks to the earth and sky, the energies of the center, the energies of all the directions. And when you're ready, walk gently back to the south, stepping out of the medicine wheel, knowing that at any time you can come back. Do this meditation to come back to center. We give thanks to all of these energies of the earth and sky, of the directions, of the center. Blessed be.